Have you ever woken up at 3 in the morning? Not from a nightmare, but because your brain is replaying one sentence you said 5 years ago. A throwaway line. Nothing important. But somehow your mind keeps looping it like a broken record. Over and over and over. You start asking yourself, why did I say that? Did I sound stupid in front of everyone? Meanwhile, the person you're obsessing over probably forgot that moment the second it happened. They probably weren't even paying attention. This isn't a story about someone else. This is a story about you, about me, about almost every single person walking around right now with a quiet epidemic. It's called overthinking. Today we're going to take it apart, all the way down to the root. Not with empty motivational fluff that just tells you to think positive, but with an honesty that might sting a little. Overthinking isn't proof that you care. Overthinking is proof that your brain is trying to control something it was never able to control in the first place. Think about it. Every time you obsess over the future, you're really trying to tame uncertainty. You think if you analyze it hard enough, long enough, in enough detail, you can prevent something bad from happening. You think if you've already prepared for every worst-case scenario in your head, the world can't blindside you anymore. But here's the truth. The harder you think, the further you actually get from real control. Because overthinking isn't a solution. Overthinking is the illusion of a solution. It gives you the feeling that you're doing something, when really you're just sitting there, exhausted, while your mind sprints in circles going nowhere. Here's something almost nobody tells you. The human brain evolved to detect threats. Thousands of years ago, that skill kept you alive. A rustle in the bushes, your brain immediately thinks snake or predator. The ones who reacted fast survived. The ones who shrugged it off became dinner. But today, the threat isn't a predator. The threat is a text message that hasn't been answered. The threat is your boss's blank expression during a meeting. The threat is a failure that hasn't even happened yet, still just a shadow in your imagination. Your brain can't tell the difference between a real danger and an imagined one, so it reacts the same way either time. Full alert, racing heart, spinning thoughts. Except there's no predator. There's just you, alone in your room, with your own mind as the enemy. And here's the cruelest irony of all. The people who overthink the most are usually the ones who care the most. The perfectionists. The ones most afraid of letting others down. They believe, if I just keep analyzing, I'll become a better person. I'll avoid making the same mistake again. But the truth is, overthinking never actually prepares you for anything. It just wears you down. You burn energy on scenarios that may never happen. You cry over wounds that were never real. You fear rejection that might only exist inside your own head. This isn't a character flaw. It's a learned pattern. Maybe it started in childhood, when a small mistake was met with a huge reaction. So you learned to overanalyze every move before making it. Maybe it came from an environment that taught you other people's approval mattered more than your own peace. Maybe it came from a wound that convinced you, if I'm not on guard, I'll get hurt again. So your brain learned. Staying alert feels safe. Overthinking feels like protection. But what's actually happening is you're torturing yourself under a different name, calling it caution, when really it's just fear wearing a rational-sounding disguise. Now let's get honest about something deeper. Overthinking is rarely just about the future. Often it's about the past that never got resolved. Every time you replay an old conversation, you're really searching for an answer you never got the first time around. You want to know, am I loved? Am I good enough? And because that question was never truly answered, your brain keeps asking it in different forms, night after night. This is what makes overthinking so exhausting. Because it isn't just logic, it's an old wound looking for validation through the wrong door. You hope, if I think about this long enough, I'll finally find peace. But peace never comes from analysis that never ends. There's one more thing rarely talked about. Overthinking is also a sneaky form of procrastination. As long as you're still thinking, you don't have to act yet. You don't have to risk failing yet. So your brain keeps spinning. Not to find the best answer, but to avoid the terrifying moment when you'd actually have to move. Here's a small story that captures all of this. Imagine someone sends a friend a text, just checking in. An hour passes, no reply. Their mind starts working overtime. Maybe they're mad at me. Maybe I said the wrong thing. In reality, their friend was just taking a nap. No drama, no anger, nothing. Just a phone sitting quietly on a table. But to someone caught in overthinking, that silence feels like proof of their worst fear. Silence was just silence. This reveals something important. Overthinking always fills empty space with the worst possible story. Not because that story is true, but because the brain is more comfortable having an answer, even a painful one, than sitting with not knowing. Your body pays the price too. When your mind keeps spinning, your body stays on high alert. Muscles tense even when you're just sitting still. Your breathing gets shallow. Sleep becomes impossible even when you're completely exhausted. Your body can't tell the difference between a real threat and one that only exists in your head. Over time, this habit builds into something bigger. Your self-trust quietly erodes. Every time you take too long weighing a decision, you're sending yourself a message that your own judgment can't be trusted. And repeated enough times, that message becomes an identity. You start to believe that's just who you are. Indecisive. Never quite sure enough. But the truth is, it's not because you're incapable of deciding. It's because you were never given the space to believe your decisions, imperfect as they are still allowed to be made. So what can you actually do about it? Not the tired advice to just stop overthinking. Because if it were that easy, you would have stopped a long time ago. Here's what actually helps. First, learn the difference between thinking and spinning. Thinking has direction. It looks for a solution, then it stops. Spinning has no direction. It just repeats, never arriving anywhere. The moment you notice you're spinning instead of thinking, that's your cue to pause and ask, what question am I actually trying to answer right now? Second, stop looking for certainty in a place that was never going to offer it. Life doesn't come with guarantees. No amount of thinking can secure the future in advance. Accepting that isn't giving up. It's simply refusing to keep fighting a war that was never winnable. Third, bring the validation back home to yourself. As long as you're searching for proof that you're good enough inside someone else's head, you'll be overthinking for the rest of your life. Because you'll never truly be able to read another person's mind with certainty. The only thing you can ever be certain of is how you treat yourself. Right here, right now. Fourth, put a time limit on your thoughts. Something like, I'll think about this until 10 tonight, and after that I'll decide with whatever information I already have. Without a deadline, your mind will spin forever, chasing a certainty that was never going to arrive. Start small tonight. When your mind starts spinning, write down just one sentence in your phone, naming exactly what you're afraid of. Putting it on paper moves the weight out of your head, so your mind doesn't have to keep holding it all night. Then practice asking one simple question every time your thoughts start running far ahead. Is this something I can actually do right now? If yes, take that small step. If not, let yourself set it down for now. because obsessing over it tonight won't change a single thing. It'll just wear you out. And finally, the hardest part. Let some things stay unresolved. Not every question needs an answer. Not every wound needs an explanation. Sometimes maturity isn't about finding every answer. It's about making peace with the questions that may never be answered at all. Overthinking isn't an enemy you defeat overnight. It's an old habit that gets loosened slowly, over time. Every time you catch yourself spinning and choose instead to pause, take a breath, and come back to the present, that's already a small win worth giving yourself credit for. You don't have to resolve every thought tonight. You just have to stop letting your thoughts become a prison you built for yourself. Because in the end, peace was never about having no thoughts at all. Peace is being able to sit with your own mind without having to follow it everywhere it tries to drag you. Peace is learning to become the observer of your thoughts instead of a prisoner inside them.